Mission statement: to consciously integrate a regenerative community lifestyle that enables individual purpose and inspires a meaningful, healthy life in harmony with the earth. This is a place where I found myself living in during my road trip in New England. It's a place for healing, regeneration, creativity, well-being, and happiness. If you want to do something today to help you regain hope in humanity, please listen to this greatly inspirational story. It's a life-changing one, I promise.
Nick is really passionate about his vision, and it's really inspiring for the rest of us.
I think he's very idealistic in his vision, and I think rightfully.
Nick has this unstoppable drive that you can see when you look in his eyes when he talks about these things in his vision and what the potential of this land, and that is truly inspiring.
I think the only way we can succeed as a species if we start to become very idealistic.
It really feels like we're gonna change the world. I know we're gonna change the world. I know we're gonna change the world.
My dream is just to create happiness and peace, and just like we deserve to have a beautiful life.
It's a transforming lifestyle. Anything and everything is possible, and all your dreams do come true because you have only your time to put forth.
This place is like super powerful. Everyone that comes here is like blown away by the connections and how much that we just really push each other to do our best and are so accepting of failure. They say there isn't failure, there's only learning. Another part of the vision is having a fully sustainable piece of land where you don't have to go anywhere and everything is provided and you have everything that you need, and an entire small community of people that are dedicated to making sure that the land is healthy.
So the Sacred Nectar Sanctuary is a very big piece of land here in New Hampshire, in the core of New Hampshire. We are, as you can see, at the bottom of the White Mountains National Park. And it is formed by several different parts, I would say. The main part is the house, which is where Nick lives with his mom and together with other 7 people who just live permanently here. And then all around the house there are several different spaces. The garden that you can see here behind my back. And then there is an outdoor kitchen for the workawayers, which I am using these days because I am a workawayer too. And then the biggest part of the land is used as campsites. And how was that award, Nick, that you won?
The best hip camp in New Hampshire. Just the other day, actually, an Outside magazine. The story starts. I think it started when I learned actually about health. About how much our bodies are getting bombarded by chemicals, and then I started learning about everything that I can do and all the best things that I can do to stay healthy. And then it just escalated, and I learned about all the ways that we're being controlled and manipulated to follow along with a certain story. And I just had this epiphany one day that this giant plot of land that my dad has like everything I need to tell a different story and to create something else. My main goal and like what I do is I believe in something else, and I believe in other people, and I believe that everybody else has a definite purpose that they're here to find. My dad was about to sell off pieces of the property as house lots because he couldn't pay for the taxes. So I made a deal with him that if I could figure out how to pay the taxes for the land, that he wouldn't sell it off. And I created a little campground and started bringing people to the land and so they can experience this. The vision is already starting to happen, and it's been happening all year. Garden and farm is one of the first definite things. Actually, Zach and Tristan are the main gardeners here, and they're like the foundation of what keeps this a thing. Like, we all saw that this year there was less food in the grocery stores, and what's really most important is that people can be able to provide for themselves. And Tristan and Zach, I'm so grateful for, because they are the ones producing our food, and they are so dedicated and such hard workers.
To be able to work with this amazing group of people and to create this sustainable living example for other people to come see and realize that they can change the world too, makes me really happy to get out of bed every day and know that I'm doing something great and I'm a part of something bigger and I'm really making a change. I think that is why I love it here, on top of, I mean, have you seen it? It's beautiful.
When I first started gardening at like my house for myself, I was like, oh, this is so fun. I just want to like have like a community garden in like my backyard. It was like really big, and I thought it would be great to have a community garden. And then I started working on farms and just kind of forgot about it. And then now I ended up here, and it's kind of like I started my own community garden. So I met Nick through a mutual friend, which is my girlfriend, Tristan.
I have been at Sacred Nectar Sanctuary for about 1.5 years, but I have been helping out here ever since Nick started the project, because I lived close. Nick and I met in college, and then he went off traveling, and when he came back he shared this vision with me, and I was like, that's pretty special. I would like to help out with that.
Nick came around and we just kind of hung out, and it all seemed to work out, because Nick's like, I want a big garden. I was like, I want to make a big garden. He's like, do it here. And I was like, yeah, let's do it here.
Outdoors human. I like to spend most of my time outside in the garden playing in the dirt. This year with my partner Zach, we started our Waxing Moon Gardens market project here, and we're really excited to be doing things in a way that's going to sequester carbon and, you know, help with climate change, help to feed and fix our soil, and to be feeding this community.
garden was handed to me by my parents. And my dad passed away last year, and my mom is just one of the most amazing people ever. I'm so happy that I can call her my mom. It's really great. And she's part of the active climate change group in this town, and she's really all about creating a fully sustainable, even town.
It's quiet, yet busy and full of life, and there's plenty of space here to find a space to just be and to recenter yourself and meditate.
For me, it represents like living consciously and intentionally, and choosing to do something because you want to do something instead of just following some sort of path because that's what society is deemed proper or acceptable. And it's, when you get to thinking about it, it's really kind of crazy how distorted and complicated we've made life, when it really can be as simple as, you know, as just growing food and having a place to sleep at night.
It's brought me back home to my heart when I thought about what it meant to live from my heart. So important is to reconnect and get our feet back in the ground and our hands in the soil where our food is grown.
So much effort is used to do things that don't need to be done. And, you know, whether it be people's careers in some office building or something like that, like, well, I guess I'm not really like calling anyone out for anything, but just saying the whole system that we have in place is just, doesn't really make too much sense. I don't know if a lot of people realize that there's another way to live, basically. And it doesn't have to be going to work every day from 9 to 5. It can just be actually enjoying yourself and working for a living and not working to make money to pay for a living.
Every single memory of the good or bad, fancies of love. Don't fancy tonight for everything will end up alright.
As far as being a musician here, it's awesome because people seem to enjoy it, where, you know, I can just play out on the porch all day and people are like, oh yeah, this is awesome, like I love having you play music outside and stuff. And just gotten like comments from the campers all summer who just like pull in here like, oh, I didn't expect there to be music, this is great. Brightens up people's day, really.
This is where it all starts. This is where we began, and this is where we're coming back to. And it's been just so reassuring for me that it is possible, and that we do have, that there is hope, and it is a time for change, and people are doing it. We're doing it here, and everybody here is so passionate about their individual pieces, and yeah, I'm just so grateful for this space.
I've been at Sacred Nectar Sanctuary off and on for the past 2 years, and I'm a carpenter here. I've built a cedar room, I've built a shed, a chicken tractor, and a horse trailer, all fun, all kinds of little stuff, little tiny house. you know. My dad owned a construction company. My great-grandparents had their own carpentry services, and so I guess it's just in the blood. How did I end up here? So it all began on a sunny day in Hawaii. I went down Mango Grove and picked up a hitchhiker named Michelle Baird, and that's how I was introduced to Sacred Nectar Sanctuary. Michelle was friends with Nick.
Even though it's the very beginning, there's so much that has happened and is going on. We just built a Cobb Oven. We have people refurbishing school buses here, building out small horse trailers into little homes that they can live in. So we have so many projects to do right now, and I can't do it all. So I've opened it up, and we have workawayers here that come and help out. I don't like to tell people exactly what to do. I like people to come, be able to learn to do a little bit of everything that they find enjoyment in. And if they know their strengths, I really push them to go forward with their strengths and be able to do what they want to do. And so Zach is a farmer. We have music artists here that they spend a lot of time helping out with a little of everything, but they also are really focused on making their music. Basically, the thing that lights me up the most is putting hope into people, because some people know that they have gifts and they don't have a place where they can feel comfortable about sharing that.
The arts kind of get like pushed aside when it comes to what people think is essential for life. But when you don't have that vehicle to like soothe your emotions or to bring out certain emotions in you, you kind of realize that life can be really gray and boring.
I just love to offer a space that people can fully express themselves and what they find their joy in. Like today, we just had a workawayer who it was his dream to learn to drive a tractor. And you know, it's like, that's such a small, easy thing to do. And that brought him so much happiness just to drive this tractor around. And it was another workawayer's dream to play a piano. So the next day we go find a free piano and pick it up, and there he goes. And now feels confident in himself, and he feels like he's in a place where he's like really loved by everyone here.
The way I have personally got to know this place is through Workaway, because I was looking for a place to stay and I was willing to give something back in terms of work, in terms of help. So I went on Workaway, which is a website that connects people who need help and have place to accommodate other people who are willing to help out. And that's how I got in contact with Nick for the first time. And this is also one of the many things that I adore about this place, the fact that they are open for workawayers to come here. So they need work, but they get it from people who are volunteers who just come here to learn few skills and give back of something that they know how to do already. And the reason why I'm saying it here in this place is because here are our vans and cars parked, and there is a tent for us. This is where we sleep.
He has this drive and this passion because of the vision that he sees, that he shares with everybody else here. That is really just, it's like an unstoppable force. I think he is like the way setter for so many people. If anybody doubts the vision they have in their head, you can just look at what him and his team have created here.
If you weren't here right now, like living in this place, where would you be?
Probably unhappily paying rent, working at a job that I don't want to work at because there's no music going on, so I can't make money really, unless I decide to go pick up a job that I really have no interest in.
Okay.
I'd lived in Los Angeles and Boston before, and I absolutely my mental and emotional state, it just felt like I was constantly climbing up a hill that was having like a mudslide or something like that, or a landslide. And it's just like, as soon as I'd get to one point, it just felt like, oh, well, now I gotta go do all this stuff that I don't want to be doing. And then it's like I slide back down the hill and then I gotta climb all the way back up again. It's like I can never get to the top and just be at like a content, happy, solid place in my mind.
It was 3 years ago that I started the campgrounds here. And that was just the first goal so that I could sustain the land and have it pay for itself. This is the camper check-in where you can get all your firewood here. You got all the information you need, some stickers. And this is Zach's little farm stand as well. With all our little trinkets that we set up for all our artists to sell some of their products. But we're also still in the very beginning of it all. And yeah, we aren't fully sustainable yet. We have big gardens and everything, but we still need to go to the grocery store. And we have chickens is our first thing. We hope to have some more animals on the property, but sometimes they get killed by the neighbor's dogs and then we don't have any more eggs. And it's a big learning curve. So this here is our solar panel array. Pretty much powers the house. We're tied into the grid so we don't have to waste all batteries. And we basically, in the winter time, we need to double our array because we don't make enough power for the whole winter time, but this gets us through in the summers and we barely have to pay any electricity. We've got a whole bunch of apple trees on the property too. That it's a pretty nice time of year when you can just pick an apple up off the tree. This is our sauna over here. We get some pretty chilly winters, so we gotta stay warm.
This was like our first little workshop we did here at Sacred Nectar Sanctuary, and we built a little sauna, and it was more of a team effort. We used live birch trees, live saplings for our posts, and then we used recycled 1x for our walls and strapping for our walls. And as you can see, we still need to do more walls in here, but we did recycled oak flooring and cedar shingles. Everything's recycled, pretty much built with everything that we had on the property. We had old skis, so we put skis on the bottom so we can tow it around in the snow. But I feel like the coolest thing about this is that we used saplings for our corner edges, and it turned out really sharp. This is a good spot to jump in after we use our sauna. We kind of dug it out a little bit more, but you just hop in after you're hot.
So we have a lot of goals in mind. One of them is building Earthships, which are these earth integrated homes. So we build our homes in a layer of ground. The geothermal heat keeps them warm in the winter time and cool in the summertime. You have south-facing greenhouse windows that heat up your house as well. You can grow your own food indoors. There's a whole bunch of radiation going on, and you put a layer of earth over you and it can block out the radiation. And you're pulling the dirt out of the earth and packing it down and creating Cobb. And it's a big, huge community event that everybody really enjoys. And you get to recycle bottles that from all this trash that we're making, we're actually using it to build houses. It's just a really awesome, amazing, cool workshop that we are gonna put on. Basically, these houses have barely any harmful impacts. You can let them rot and they just go back into the earth, and there isn't all these chemicals and all these bad packaging that everything comes in. The Cobb Oven is kind of our first cool earth project that we created. It's just an oven that you bake your bread and your pizzas in, but you pull the dirt out, you get a little bit of straw that actually Zach mowed down out of the fields the other day. Then we take some sand and you mix it together and you create a sand dome, and then you put the cob around it, let it harden up, scrape the sand out, and then you have an oven that you can cook in. And you didn't do anything besides pick up dirt out of the ground. Dreammobile.
Oh, Jesus!
My dad was like a collector of junk, of everything. He loved old vehicles and whatever you could, old farm equipment and stuff. And this trailer was actually parked here, and it had a tree like this big growing through it, and it was all rotten and old and everything. And I was like, that could be the start of our first tiny house. So me and Tyler dragged it out. We put some new wood on it, and now this amazing piece of art is livable. This school bus, actually, we just had a couple of our roommates flew all the way across the country and drove this school bus back. And their goal is to turn it into their mobile home and play music and spread light across the country. This is kind of our industrial workshop area. And we also even have, because of all the junk around, we're big recyclers. We take everything that we have that normally people just throw out, and we'll reuse it and put another purpose to it. So this is kind of where we put all the stuff that won't get damaged by the weather out. And it's kind of a mess, but you know, the world's kind of a mess. And we're here to clean it up. During the cold winters, there's not a lot to do around sometimes, but building is kind of a thing that people can still do. And when you have an indoor space, it's a lot more comfortable. And this huge warehouse right here, we're cleaning it up. We want to host tiny house building workshops in here. And we even have a little stage here for artists to play for other people around.
Do you think they're gonna be a thing in the future?
Oh, they already are. It's already a thing. That's why we're a part of it.
I definitely think there will be more places like this. One of the factors being that millennials don't really have the wealth that, you know, and aren't going to have the wealth that baby boomers have had, and, you know, even Generation X. This is a much more affordable way to live, and that's not what I want to like present to people as like, you should come here, it's cheap. Like, that's not what I want people to like take away from, you know, viewing this experience. But it's, I think naturally it's just going to happen, and I think that's going to be one of the things that draws people in. On the other side, I think the other reason it's going to happen is just because millennials are, at least seem to be a lot more aware of the broader picture, at least in America, than their parents have been, or, you know, just people who have come before them. So I think, you know, there's a lot of youth activism nowadays, and I think that's going to conglomerate or, you know, add up to being I wouldn't even say movement, but just a change in like people. Like, you know, I could talk to any one of, like, pretty much anyone that I know that's my age, and they'd be like, yeah, I know that we're killing the world and everything like that, but I think what's really gonna, I feel like there's gonna be some shift or like some technology that gets developed or something like that that allows people to reduce their consumption conveniently, and that's really gonna set everything off. If I just was thinking about how changes have come historically, like culture has changed dramatically, like with the invention of the printing press and, you know, the automobile and the internet and so on and so forth, and the smartphone. And I think if there's some sort of technology that is affordable, and, you know, just like if solar panels or something like that get to a place where they're like, yeah, they're really efficient and they're like sourced in such a way that, you know, they're not going to harm the environment or take precious minerals out of the environment.
I guess like the biggest part is when this place just touches people so much. You just feel the love, you know? The amount of gratitude that every person comes here and experiences. Like, everybody's so grateful for this land and everyone here.
The people who are gonna be able to move into the future are the ones that are going to be able to reduce their consumption and figure out how to live closer to the earth and more in harmony with just who they are and the people that are around them. It sounds radical, but it's really not, because people say that the earth is in danger, but it's not the earth that's in danger, it's humans that are in danger. It's not save the earth, it's save ourselves, really.
I really think that these places are extremely precious in this moment of the history of humanity, and they are the ones that are gonna kind of save our species on this earth. This is why I felt so engaged with this place, the Sacred Nectar Sanctuary, and that's why I decided to share its story. This is all from me. I am Mary Jane from the channel Watershed Mary Jane, and this place is part of my trip in New England during the fall foliage 2020. If you are interested, check out my vlogs. I'm documenting the entire trip. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
This is our super special mailbox.
Ah, that's amazing! Who put up this swing?
I did. The kids love it.
Well, not only the kids.
It's a beautiful place to be, and the people are beautiful, and the energy is beautiful, and yeah, it's a special spot.
A lot of goodness is about to come this way.